gentlemen, welcome to the 158th commencement of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. As we convene this commencement, I ask that you please rise for the presentation of the color guard and the ROTC. Will the ROTC color guard please present the colors? Please be seated. We are gathered today to recognize those who are about to join the proud alumni of the university. We will award diplomas to graduates of our baccalaureate, master's, and doctoral programs. I ask everyone to remember the School of Mines students, alumni, and all Americans who are deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and in other troubled parts of the world. We are pleased to have 7 veterans graduating today. Many of these students were deployed during their collegiate tenure and returned to complete their degrees. Also today, we will honor 5 School of Mines graduates with Distinguished Alumni Awards to recognize their contributions to their professions and communities. You can find more information about each of our featured guests in your commencement program. While they won't appear on stage, we are also joined today by the families and friends of our graduates. These graduates would not be here today if you didn't support them emotionally, spiritually, and of course financially during their college careers. Your commitment to helping these students succeed is well known and much appreciated. Thank you for all that you've done to make today possible. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the representative of the senior class, Mr. Jason Fields. Mr. Fields is from Millbank, South Dakota, and is a candidate for a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in materials science. While attending the School of Mines, Jason has been involved in various activities and organizations. He has been a member of the Baja SAE since his freshman year and served as its team captain for 2 years. He also served as student chairman for the Center of Excellence for Advanced Manufacturing and Production, also known as CAMP, for 2 years. Mr. Fields was active in the leadership development team as a member and co-chair. Additionally, he has been involved in a number of other organizations, including the Society of Automotive Engineers as a member and vice president, InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, Mechanical Engineering Student Advisory Board, and as a School of Mines resident assistant. Upon graduation, Mr. Fields will be pursuing his career in mechanical engineering at Polaris Industries in Wyoming, Minnesota. Let's all welcome Mr. Fields.
Thank you, Dr. Wharton. Good morning and welcome. Graduates, family, friends, distinguished alumni. Recently, anytime that I've been asked to write out South Dakota School of Mines Technology or what college I attend, I can't help but think of the BlackHillSouthWand.com commercial and their slogan, long name, amazing results. I know, it sounds silly, but it still rings true. This tiny engineering school with this long name in a state that most people can't find in a map produces some pretty amazing results. From research on the forefront of technology to camp teams that consistently beat big name schools like Purdue and Georgia Tech. To the graduates sitting before me, this little engineering school in South Dakota is pretty incredible. Because of this long name, it's been called many things. South Dakota School of Mines, South Dakota Tech, or even just Mines or Tech. It's sometimes mistaken as the School of Mines, like your brain, or even the School of Mimes, like the guy in the white and black suit that thinks he's in a box or something. It's many things to many people, but to us, the graduating class of 2008 has been more than a place where we attend class. It has become more like our home, and the students, faculty, and staff have been our family. I'm happy and proud to say that I'm graduating from the South Dakota School of Mines Technology. But I'm also sad because I'm leaving the place that has become my home and the people that have become my family. The relationships we've been able to develop have been just as amazing as the education we've received. Some of us have found our wives or husbands, and all of us have found our friends. We've experienced many different things in college. Some we remember forever, and some we hope to soon forget. I'm not going to pretend that I can relate to each person in the graduating class of 2008, because I know I can't. Each one of us has different experience, and each one of us remember different things. Personally, I'll never forget throwing most of the Baja team in the mud pit at the base of M Hill, and subsequently climbing up the hill and attempting to whitewash the hill covered in mud. And I won't forget the scooter races in the Civil Mechanical Building, or seeing the sunrise through the windows of the cat lab. Sure, there have been many all-nighters, some from working on camp projects, some from studying, some from getting to know new friends, and even some from partying a little too hard. There have been tough classes and impossible semesters, and none of us have skated through, although some of us have tried. Many of us have taken time off from school for co-ops and internships, or just because we needed a break from college. And each of us chose that different path, whether it was a 3.5-year fast track, or maybe even 5, 6, or 7 years. No matter which trail you followed, or how long it took, all of us made it. As some people say, we survived the School of Mines. How do we make it through this? Looking back over the last few years, I tried to think, what did it take to get through college? I thought, what common characteristic did each individual of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology graduating class of 2008 possess? I found my answer in a quote from former President Calvin Coolidge. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and will always solve the problems of the human race. It has been persistence that has gotten us through college, and it's that same persistence that will get us through life. The education we receive has been top-notch, but is nothing if we don't put it to use. Our futures are uncertain, especially with the economy in its current state. But it's our responsibility to use this great education we received to overcome the challenges before us. Remember, there's no challenge too great, there's no problem too difficult, as long as you're persistent. Never give up. Today, we are no longer college students. We are engineers and scientists. But let's not forget the people that helped us get here today. So as I wrap up this speech, there are many people we need to thank. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to represent the senior class and the great honor of speaking today. Thank you to all of our families who have provided us with never-ending love and support. Thank you to all the professors that have taught us lessons in and out of the classroom. A special thanks to the members of the BA SAE team. Without you, I would have done a lot more homework, but I wouldn't have learned near as much. Most of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Rebecca, for always being there with me and for putting up with those late nights working on Baja. Last but not least, thank you, class of 2008. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Fields, for your inspirational words. Well done. So we will press on. I now wish to present Rear Admiral William F. Pearson, who will give the commencement address. Admiral Pearson is a 1964 civil engineering graduate of the School of Mines. For 3 decades, Admiral Pearson assumed ever-increasing levels of responsibility for the Public Health Service and the Indian Health Service, rising from project engineer to Assistant Surgeon General with the rank of Rear Admiral. Ever cognizant of the importance of service and leadership, Admiral Pearson has been recognized by the Public Health Service, the American Public Works Association, and other American and Canadian organizations for his exceptional work. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology is pleased to recognize his leadership to the Public Health Service and to our community with awarding Admiral Pearson the degree of Doctorate of Public Service, amicus curiae. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by action of the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you, Rear Admiral William F. Pearson, the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service, with all rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the responsibilities thereto appertaining. Admiral Pearson.
Thank you, Dr. Morton. Regents, distinguished alumni, honored faculty, graduates, and, of course, the family and the friends and the sponsors of all of this. It's a delight for me to be here, and I'm honored to receive this award. Excuse me if I don't try to put my cap back on, but it would take two hands to do it, and I can't do it with a skier's thumb. First of all, I just have to make a personal note. You know, I see you guys, and you obviously are a lot brighter and younger than I was whenever I graduated. I was almost 30. I had a working wife and two little children. So whenever I walked across the stage to get my diploma, little voices from the audience said, "Where's Danny?" And I say, I probably wasn't the brightest person in that class. I probably didn't have the highest IQ in that class. But I think I had the greatest motivation of anybody there, with the two children and the wife to support. And that motivation is what carries us on. You deserve a special consideration, all of you graduates. You're part of an elite group now of the world, not just the United States, but the world. You were graduating from an institution of higher learning in the United States of America. What's important is that you've proven that you can learn. You've proven that you can accept defined objectives and you can attain goals. That's really critical in life. You've now earned the opportunity to work and utilize your education to receive more financial compensation and special benefits to enhance your quality of life, commensurate with your new status as the elite of the planet. Even more importantly, though, you are now, perhaps without recognizing it, assuming a responsibility as a leader of the world. You are now one of the leaders of the world. You're going to have to start being personally responsible for the operation and maintenance of this world as we know it. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that anybody else is going to immediately recognize you as being a leader of the world or give you credit for the fact that you're now in charge of the operation and maintenance of the world. In fact, I have to warn you that you should fasten your seatbelts and hang on, because you are probably going out into a more strained, hostile environment than any college graduates for many years out of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. Some might say that you're leaving this academic environment and going from the frying pan into the fire. I originally had a little talk written for you about 2 or 3 months ago. But there have been some situations that have happened in the last week that made me totally change my talk. And I wanted to share this information with you. 2 experiences that my wife and I had just during the last week. First of all, we had the opportunity to be invited to hold a home of a multi-billionaire in Palm Beach, Florida. This gentleman was a wonderful host. This is a spectacular home. It was like the Palace of Versailles or one of the large palaces in Russia. It stretched all the way from the Atlantic Ocean to the bay and the inland waterway on the other side. We would go into the home, and here is, there's actually been a book published about this home. It has over $1 billion worth of art and artifacts in this home. That's $1,000 million worth of art and artifacts in this home. It's, as a matter of fact, I counted personally counted 20 security people as we were going from room to room and looking at all of these fine objects of art and admiring them on the floor and the ceiling. There were 20 security people around to make sure that none of us walked off with any of these things. You can have some idea about what the cost of that home was, and with 20 security people on it. One friend of ours, a citizen of the world, was astounded by this wealth. And she said, "Can you imagine how many starving children in the world could be fed with just these resources, $1 billion? How many schools could be built in Africa, South America, Asia?" And I thought, what could we do with $1 billion? I knew of one charity that could feed a starving child in Africa for $30 a month. That meant that 1 million starving children could be fed for 3 years. In the some developing nations, you could build a school and operate and maintain it for $1,000 a year. That means that 1,000 schools could be funded for 10 years for $1 billion. 40 kids per school, that would be 40,000 kids at a time to be getting a fundamental education which could help them develop the survival skills that they need to join in as citizens of the world. And I thought, that could influence many thousands of people to perhaps admire and appreciate the United States, and maybe even not be interested in volunteering to come over on a suicide bombing mission to destroy our buildings and to injure our people. I hasten to add that I'm not criticizing my host for this. He was a wonderful man. The occasion was a policeman's ball, or policeman's benefit for the surviving children of policemen that had been shown on duty, an educational scholarship even. And there were about 40 of us there. He was a wonderful host, and and for all I know, he may have also given $1 million for other charities. He was a wonderful person. And the reason why I mention this incident is not to criticize him, but to bring to your attention and to sensitize you, perhaps, and to certainly bring to my attention this gulf between the wealth of the world and the people who could use some help in this. And our responsibility to help the people in the world gain the capability of joining us at a level of health and well-being that all citizens of the world should expect. The second incident, which occurred last week, was a visit from a dear friend of ours. This is a lady who was 61 years old. She had been a widow for 10 years, and she said she had just lost everything she had. She was penniless. She had had all of her money invested with a financier by the name of Madoff. You read about him in the newspapers last week. He perpetuated the biggest fraud in the history of the world, over $50 billion. There are thousands and thousands of elderly people, octogenarians, and hundreds of charities now around the United States and around the world, that because of this man's greed, they no longer have the endowment funds to generate the income to help people because of this one man's greed. Greed. Why would this happen? This Madoff was a respected icon in the financial field. He was one of the founders of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. And now the name Madoff, for many people, is going to be a curse. Yes. He's brought shame to himself and to his family. From now on, throughout history, his name is going to be associated with greed because of the thousands and thousands of people who've been made miserable because of the greed of one man. And I thought about this, greed. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. We see why it's so deadly. Ordinarily you wouldn't think about greed as being that bad, but I think probably most experts agree that the individual and corporate greed is responsible for this economic meltdown that we've been suffering throughout the world in the last 3 months. Individual and personal greed. In my short 15-minute talk here, I want to encourage you to accept the enormous responsibility to operate and maintain the world, as you're going to have to do. But I want you to do it in such a way where you will think about enhancing the quality of the health and the well-being of others who are not as fortunate as you, and to steer clear of that deadly sin. You are in a position where you're going to be amazed at how significantly you can contribute to the protection of our environment, our planet, the health and the well-being of all the people in the world. And there's no project in life more important than protecting our planet, our environment, and improving the health and well-being of the people of the world and its occupants. I Googled the Golden Rule a couple of nights ago. I found on one site there were 25 references from different religions and philosophies. There was amazing consistency in the interpretation of the Golden Rule. And you stop and think that, this is what we think of as gold, is what we think of as precious. The gold, I doubt very seriously that these 25 religions and philosophies agree on one other thing, but they agree on the Golden Rule. And I think that's a tremendous message for all of us, that the wisdom of our history, of our species, has come down to one golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto you. We have an urgent, critical job. You have an urgent, critical job. We've got to stop and reverse, to the extent possible, the adverse impact of our species on the planet Earth. And we have to achieve this extraordinary goal while we're continuing to improve the health and well-being of the brothers and sisters on the planet. Can this be done? Is that an impossible task? No, it's not. We do fantastic things as a species. I think about my little mother, who was passed away a few years ago. When she was 16, she walked beside a covered wagon from eastern Oklahoma to western Oklahoma, in the mud and the rain and the wind and the dust. Before she died, she was flying across the United States in a continental jet, intercontinental jet, relaxing and having a meal 6 or 7 miles above the ground, all in one lifetime. That's spectacular. Our capabilities as a species are amazing. We can get so much accomplished in one life. And I think about my life where, when I was a little boy, our news of the world came from the radio. When I was 13, before we really had television, I was on this campus in South Dakota Tech in '63 in a thermodynamics class when we got word about President Kennedy being assassinated. And as we students at that time were walking around with the funny little slide rules everybody makes fun of now, was getting our 3 to 4 digit accuracy off our slide rules. And now there are really some neat, bawdy songs about the slide rules and everything. Each of us now have cell phones with cameras, with GPSs, with personal appointment devices, calculators, alarm clocks, everything on it. We can be sailing down a river somewhere and talking with somebody, or send them a video from across the country. We have an unbelievably unlimited technical capability, and we just touched on it. We're just starting. You guys are going to really see it big time. And our social progress has been equally impressive. Whenever I graduated from the School of Mines in in '64 and went to the Pine Ridge Reservation. The American Indians and Alaska Natives throughout the United States had an infant mortality rate which was similar to that you would find in the most undeveloped parts of the world, in Africa and Asia and South Africa. It was just a shame. It was a tragedy. And whenever I retired, 30 years later, the infant mortality rate of the American Indians and Alaska Natives was higher than that of the U.S. and all races. Our government, U.S. Congress, had seen the problem. They devoted 30 years of resources to improving the health and well-being of the infant children through public health and good health care and health education. And it paid off. It significantly improved. That's a major social advance in 30 years for one group of people to help another group of people achieve such health goals. Don't get me wrong, they still, I heard Senator Daschle last week announced that the life expectancy of a male adult on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation is 42. For the rest of us around the United States, it's 74, 75. So we have a long ways to go. There's a lot of work to be done there. During my lifetime, I think probably the most significant achievement that I can see that we've done as human species has been we managed to not annihilate ourselves in the nuclear race with Russia and the Soviet Union. When I was here, Ellsworth Air Force Base was, we had B-47, B-52 bombers taking off with simulated nuclear runs. The world was that close to annihilation. All it would have taken was a slip here or there, and we could have wiped out a species on our planet, our entire species. But we didn't do it. Somewhere in there, with divine intervention and an innate intelligence, goodness that's within all of us, we managed to back off that part. We did not kill everybody in the world. We did not make our planet uninhabitable. We have a good sense and intelligence to recognize the danger and back down. We're displaying more ethics and morals and personal concern about other people in the world. It's no longer acceptable to beat your wife. It's no longer acceptable to beat your child. It's no longer acceptable to beat the man who works for you or the woman who works for you. It's no longer acceptable to have infant children working in textile mills, 16 to 18 days, breathing deadly dust that's going to kill them before they're 30 years old. We are making progress. So don't be discouraged about this. We are making progress. The world is not going to hell in a handbasket. We've made progress. And there are major changes taking place, even now. I think now there's something happening. The good that's coming out of this economic meltdown is that we are realizing, I think as a species, we're realizing that greed is unacceptable. There's a certain place in here where greed is unacceptable. And we are not going to tolerate it anymore. We're going to condemn and criticize people who have that greed. I think there are winds blowing in our nation, politically, in our government, where we are going to take this newfound impression that we had, and we're going to help one another. Greed will no longer be admired. People who accumulate this wealth will be expected, I think, probably to take care of their fellow citizens. There's a Navajo saying, show me a man that has 10,000 sheep, and I'll show you a man that hasn't taken very good care of his family or his neighbors. We've got to adopt that same attitude as the majority race in the United States. We can do it. I'm not saying that life's a bed of roses. There's a lot of work to do. You guys are going to fall down. You're going to trip. You're going to get kicked down. But you can get back up. And you will get back up. And you can help others to get back up. And that's the important thing. Help others to get back up. You'll have wonderful times. You'll contribute to the preservation of our planet and our environment and the improvement of our species. You'll help feed the hungry. You can stop the suffering of the world. You can help educate people of the world. You can do all this because our sciences and our religion are coming together. We have the ethics, we have the technical capability to do it. You'll do it because you'll have the divine power and the intelligence of the universe helping you. You'll do it because you're going to be less selfish. You're going to be less greedy. You're going to know to avoid the deadly sin of greed. You're going to be committed to a higher cause than just yourself. You're going to be looking at your family, your community, your nation, your species, and perhaps even species from the other world. You're not going to be able to do this job overnight. As a matter of fact, you may not even finish in your lifetime. But I can guarantee you this, folks. If you live by the golden rule, you are going to have a better life. You're going to have a happier life. You're going to enjoy your life more. You're going to feel more fulfilled. And you're going to be more of a contributing person to our planet and to our society. I'm reminded of the song, the words of the song, I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. I think of the progress during my mother's lifetime, my lifetime, and I think, what a wonderful world. I look out there and I see you guys. I know you're going to be better caretakers of our planet. I know you're going to be better protectors of our brothers and sisters around the world. And who knows, perhaps you'll be the generation that has the first open contact with species from another planet, or from another dimension, or from another time. I suspect they're probably a higher intelligence than we. I suspect they already know the golden rule. But I look out there and see you, and you guys are going to learn far more than I'll ever know. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Godspeed. Good luck, guys.
The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology operates under the authority of the South Dakota Board of Regents. This morning we are pleased that Regent Catherine Johnson, Dr. Johnson, is with us to represent the board. Please join me in welcoming Regent Johnson.
President Warden, honored guests, faculty, staff, parents, spouses, friends, but most important, graduates of the class of December 2008. It's a real delight for me to represent the South Dakota Board of Regents here today. I think commencements are a time of celebration. It's a celebration of the talent we have in South Dakota and the state's commitment to public education. Graduates, I congratulate you on your achievements and I bring you best wishes from the Regents. And now to the graduates, I'm going to take this opportunity to say a few words about my views of the responsibilities that come with your diploma. And you'll soon be entering this so-called new economy, or sometimes it's called the knowledge economy. And this is a system that is fueled less by routine production and more by ideas and innovation. And as more and more of the workplace information goes digital, and it can be transported around the world in a blink of an eye, the workforce is also drawn from across the globe. And the focus on education in several of the huge population centers, like China and India and so on, that's leaving the United States lagging. For example, 30 years ago, your parents' generation, 30% of the college graduates in the world were from the United States. That proportion today is down to 14%, and it continues to decline. And in general, college graduates from many countries work for less money. So how do we compete? How do we keep that value added that merits the higher salaries of U.S. workers? And I'm here to tell you that I believe it's all about education. As information travels around the globe, the most important part of its journey is the last few inches. That distance between a person's eyes or ears and the brain. Does the person have the capacity to understand the information? Does he or she have the creativity to really use it? And it's up to our education system to make sure that our workforce not only has the basic skills and knowledge, but also the abilities to absorb, to process, and to combine information to solve problems and innovate solutions. Education at all levels, kindergarten through high school and on through college, must continually refocus to ensure the delivery of these critical competencies. And in addition to your other responsibilities that Dr. Pearson spoke about so beautifully, it's going to be up to you to lead the effort to support and transform education. We're experiencing a trend today that where less and less of the cost of public education is publicly funded. In South Dakota, for example, 10 years ago, the funding for a student's education was funded about 60% from public funds, the state. Today, that has dropped to less than 50%, which leaves the students to shoulder more and more and more of the load. So to arrest this trend and keep education affordable, each of you needs to become a champion for public higher education and make the case wherever and whenever you have a chance. Remind people every day that education's value in keeping the U.S. competitive in the global marketplace. Get involved in the national and state and the local debates and make sure that the education that you received is available to serve both the individual and the corporate good of the next generations. And so now, by the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the state of South Dakota, I hereby delegate to President Wharton the right to confer diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Thank you, Regent Johnson. We now have the sad honor of awarding a posthumous degree. Adam Mayberry died November 23rd, 2008. Adam was a senior in computer engineering, with a minor in computer science. Adam was from Pierre, South Dakota. While at the School of Mines, he was a member of the Triangle Fraternity, where he was an officer. Adam accepted a job in Denver and was to start on December 29th. Receiving his diploma are his parents, Wayne and Vicki Mayberry, and his sister, Jennifer. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science, with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Dr. Patricia Mann, Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students, will present the Bachelor of Science degree candidates.
Good morning, and graduates, until you're called forward, you may be seated. I shall read the names only of those degree candidates who are present this morning. Those who are unable to attend, but whose names are listed in the commencement program, will be awarded their diplomas in absentia. We welcome and encourage your applause for each graduate, but we ask that you refrain from using air horns and other noisemakers out of respect to the graduates, their families, and our visitors. As the graduates line up to receive their diplomas, families and guests are reminded that you are invited to come forward to the front and to take pictures as the graduates shake hands with the president and march across the stage. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemistry please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Daniel Hagelin, Chair of the Department of Chemistry, and Dr. Dwayne Hernser. Jason Robert Higgins. Jonathan Levin Wilkins, cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geology please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Mary Beth Price, Chair of the Department of Geology and Geological Engineering, and Dean Hernser. Miranda Ann Swain-Bonish. Dean Jack Mead. Jacob Alman Thaler. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Sciences please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Joe Lee, Interdisciplinary Sciences Program Coordinator, and Dean Hernser. David Allen Fields. John Christopher Hamilton. Jade Elise Herman. Kenneth Mark Northrup. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Applied and Computational Mathematics please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Dr. Kyle Riley, Chair of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, and Dean Hernser. Lindsay K. Andrews. Rebecca Ray Fields. Anna Roberts Patterson, cum laude. Anna will also be congratulated on stage by her father, Dr. Colin Patterson, a professor of geology and geological engineering. Will the candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Dr. David Dixon, Chair of the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, and Interim Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Karen Whitehead. Christine Renee Murphy. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Department Advisor Dr. Dixon and Dr. Whitehead. Carly Lynn Keeney. Christine Renee Murphy. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Sancho Vong, Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering Professor, and Dr. Whitehead. Joshua James Anderson. Eric James Bradner, cum laude. Jennifer Ann Davis. Joseph James Matuska, magna cum laude. Adam Stamper Riley. Matthew Anthony Toronto. Daryl Teal. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Brian Hammelman, Chair of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, and Dr. Whitehead. Anthony Jeffrey Amundsen, magna cum laude. Rocky Lee Hardy. Robert William Herbst, cum laude. Brock V. Kelland. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering please come forward to receive their diplomas and be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Hemmelman and Dr. Whitehead. Anthony Jeffrey Amundsen, magna cum laude. Thad Micah Bauer, magna cum laude. Craig Blue. Andrew Downs, cum laude. Matthew David Griffith. David Jonathan Hutt, magna cum laude. William Ray Kendall. James Parrish. Garrett Michael Rembold. Stephen Michael Torpy. Rachel Renee Woodward. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Riley and Dr. Whitehead. Roderick Sean Carroll. Mark Douglas Gladfelder, magna cum laude. Floyd Park. Will the candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geological Engineering please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Price and Dr. Whitehead. Alexandra Ludmeller, Priestess-Chef. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Stuart Kellogg, Chair of the Department of Industrial Engineering, and Dr. Whitehead. Tyler John Flatham, cum laude. Jared Keith Johnson. Michael Lloyd Johnson. Jennifer Ann Malone. Letitia K. Scott. Rebecca Renee C. Christopher Michael Zeeb. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Michael Langerman, Chair of the Department of Metallurgical Engineering, and Dr. Whitehead. Jeremy Clarkson. Brian Daniel Colgan. Tyler Engberg. Jason Robert Fields. Christopher Arley Flack, cum laude. Chance Gambrel. Adam Curtis Layden, magna cum laude. Sterling Ray Grinhai, Jr. Matthew Grimm. Sarah Jean Hady, summa cum laude. Kelly Ross Hansen, cum laude. Trevor Dean Henriksen. Andrew J. Holstein. Jordan Lyle Johnson. Adam Jacob Lundgren. Jeremy McNary. Brent Thomas Metty, cum laude. Jeffrey James Schnabel, magna cum laude. Stephen Lee Schnabel, magna cum laude. Chad Daniel Steffes. John Raymond Tinas, cum laude. Christopher Lee Vickery. Frank Peter Vanilla, cum laude. Jason Scott Wilner, cum laude. Travis Zelfer, summa cum laude. Will the candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Metallurgical Engineering please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Dr. John Keller, Chair of the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, and Dr. Whitehead. Travis John Zelfer. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. Sashi Kant, Chair of the Department of Mining Engineering and Management, and Dr. Whitehead. Caleb Michael Bestian, cum laude. Craig Dennis Johnson, cum laude. Ryan Eugene Lee. John Robert Nielsen. Colin McDonald Rogers. That concludes the presentation of diplomas to the graduating seniors. Our congratulations and best wishes to the class of 2008.
Let's ask your bachelor degree recipients to rise once again, please. I offer you my personal congratulations and all the good wishes of the entire School of Mines family. I now give you permission to move your tassels on your mortarboard from right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the School of Mines undergraduate class of 2008. You may be seated. Will the candidates for the Master of Science degrees please rise? By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degrees specified with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations, privileges, and honors thereto appertaining, contingent upon completion of all requirements. Dr. Karen Whitehead, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, will present the candidates for these advanced degrees.
I shall read the names only of those Master of Science degree candidates who are present this morning. Those who were unable to attend but whose names are listed in the commencement program will be awarded their diplomas in absentia. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Civil Engineering please come forward to receive your diplomas and to be congratulated by Dr. Sanchal Bang and Dean of Graduate Education, Dr. John Helston. Wade Allen Lynn. Craig Stephen Phillips. Will the candidate for the degree Master of Science in Computer Science please come forward to receive your diploma and to be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Riley and Dean Helston. Jonathan Adrian Wolf. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Materials Engineering and Science please come forward to receive your diplomas and be congratulated by Dr. John Keller, Materials Engineering and Science Program Coordinator, and Dean Helston. Ramya Chandrasekhar. Elizabeth D. Nielsen. Will the candidate for the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Langerman and Dean Helston. Brandon James Hintz. Will the candidate for the degree Master of Science in Paleontology please come forward to receive your diploma and be congratulated by Department Chair Dr. Price and Dean Helston. Amanda K. Duffy.
Will the candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy degree please rise? By virtue of the authority invested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree specified with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining.
Will Saikon Saikon, candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Materials, Engineering, and Science, please come forward. Dr. Tony Logar and Dr. Ed Coleman, major professors for Old Saikon, will assist in the pudding ceremony.
I now present Dr. Saikon Saikon. Many School of Mines alumni pursue excellence in their careers. In doing so, these graduates make outstanding contributions to their professions and communities. In recognition of these accomplishments, the Alumni Association, the Foundation, and the School of Mines are proud to honor this year's distinguished Alumni Award recipients. Award nominees were evaluated based on their level of professional achievement, their evidence of significant and creative professional activity, their involvement in professional or business organizations, and the balance of community and professional service and awards. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Paul Gnurk. Dr. Gnurk is a 1959 mining engineering graduate of the South Dakota School of Mines, past alumni president, and current executive vice president of our Alumni Association. He will introduce the recipients of this year's Distinguished Alumni Awards. Please help me welcome Dr. Paul Gnurk.
Thank you, Dr. Warden. Yes, it is an honor and a pleasure for me this year to introduce to you the recipients of the Distinguished Alumni Awards. 3 of the 5 recipients are here today. You will find in your program a detailed description of their life and their accomplishments. So when I call their names of those of you here to come forward, and I will introduce them as such. The first recipient, who is not here today, is James Aberest. James Aberest will be given his award in person by the Alumni Association this next spring in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But there's a few details of his life that are interesting. Jim Aberest, his family came from down around Mission, South Dakota. Actually, his family was from the country of Lebanon. They were in the grocery store business in Mission. Moved to Rapid City, and he attended as a non-traditional student the School of Mines and graduated in 1961 with a degree in civil engineering. Upon graduation, he went to the state of California, worked for the Department of Highways for approximately a year, moved back to Rapid City, and worked for Peter Hewitt and Sons in the installation of the Minuteman missile sites. As told to me by Dr. Howard Peterson, in that spring of 1963, Jim Abrez visited Dr. Peterson, Dean of Students here at the college, and discussed with him the fact that engineering was not exactly what he wanted to do in life, and he was thinking maybe of going into law school. And Dr. Peterson asked him exactly what he wanted to do, and he said, well, he'd maybe like to be a politician. And so Dr. Peterson suggested that indeed he pursue a degree in law, which he did at the University of South Dakota, graduated in 1966, moved back to Rapid City, practiced law. In the year 1969, the congressional seat in the 2nd District, the U.S. House of Representatives, opened up. That was back in the days when South Dakota had 2 congressional representatives, 1st District, 2nd District. 2nd District was western South Dakota and a portion into eastern South Dakota. Jim Abrez won that election, albeit narrowly. In later years I asked him, how did you win? He said, well, first of all, being a Democrat, it was going to be tough in western South Dakota, so you had to shake everybody's hand twice, every voter's hand twice, and he really thought maybe the Democrats in the eastern part of the district really carried him through in the election. 2 years later, in 1972, the Senate seat opened up. State of South Dakota, he ran, and he won that seat. He spent 6 years in the Senate of the United States, was involved with the Budget Committee, the Space Committee, the Interior Committee, the Justice Committee. The Interior Committee became the Energy Committee. He was chair of many of the subcommittees, including the Indian Affairs or the Energy Department. After he decided at the end of 6 years, that in 1978, that he was not going to run again for election, and became a very distinguished lawyer in the Washington, D.C. area, worked in the Near East, many problems involving the Near East and so forth, and author of several books. He returned in later years to Rapid City for a number of years as an attorney, and finally moved to Sioux Falls, where he's now an attorney, and he specializes in pro bono work. That is, he represents people who do not have enough money to hire an attorney. In 2002, the State Department asked him to go to Baghdad as part of the negotiations for weapons inspectors, which he did, and then for a period of time thereafter that it was successful. As such, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Jim Abrez, please help me in recognizing him as one of our distinguished graduates of alumni for 1980. The second recipient, who is also not here, is Randall Baker. Mr. Baker will receive his award in person this next year when we have the Alumni Association has an opportunity to meet with him in his many activities. Randall Baker, coming from Golden, Colorado, graduated in 1986 with a degree in mining engineering. During the first 6 years after graduation, he worked with Tamrock Corporation, Ingersoll Rand, Komatsu, in a whole variety of jobs in engineering development, general manager, vice president, and so forth. And then in 2005, he went to work for Case International Harvester, division of Case New Holland. In fact, it's the Case International Harvester agricultural business. Started work with them. And everyone who's in the farming businesses audience knows what New Holland is. It's a fantastic organization throughout the world. In fact, his division, in which he is the president and CEO, this last year did $5.1 billion in sales, has 7,500 employees, 2,800 distribution centers in 3 continents, and he is the president and CEO of of that organization. In addition, in his civic duties, he'd been very much involved in the United Way in Racine, Wisconsin, and southern Wisconsin, and their advisory group for the United Way. And finally, in 1997, he received an outstanding recent graduate award from School of Mines here in Rapid City. Mr. Baker is not able to be here. Randall is, in fact, in a corporation board of directors meeting at this time for Case New Holland. So we will award his, give his plaque in person this next year, and I will accept it on behalf of him right now. Thank you. The next recipient is John Collier. John, would you please come forward to the podium? Looking very good, young man. John Collier originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. He moved with his parents. His father changed his position and job to Huron, South Dakota, and he graduated from Huron High School. In 1961, he received his Bachelor of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from the School of Mines. 1962, he got a Master of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from the University of Illinois. In 1966, a PhD in Polymer Science and Engineering from Case Institute. Subsequently, I might add, before I go into the details of all this, during his career at the School of Mines, he was really an active student. In fact, he was an all-conference football player, president of the junior class, and a member of the Delta Sigma Phi fraternity. In fact, if you look in the yearbook and his picture, you got about 3 inches of things, of descriptions of all of his activities while at campus. Very, very, very active. Upon graduation of his PhD, he began a very distinguished career in the education, in the university education. Phenomenal degree with many, many publications. In fact, prior to his current position as professor of chemical and biomedical engineering at Florida State University, he was at University of Tennessee in Knoxville, where he's professor and head of chemical engineering. He was at Louisiana State University, where he was the Ike East professor, chair of the chemical engineering department, and at Ohio University, where he was the Russ professor of chemical engineering, associate dean of graduate school. From his civic duties, obviously, very much involved in the Ohio Council of Churches at one time, the Ohio Synod of Lutheran Churches, Elder and Presbyterian Churches, and so forth. A distinguished career in higher education, university education, and we're extremely proud that he is one of our recipients this year for Distinguished Award, an Alumni Award. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you John Collier. Let's hear it for him.
Just take a minute and say thank you. I'm very honored by this award. My time at the School of Mines prepared me well for a career. And I want to say to all of you graduates, congratulations, and give you 2 very quick related pieces of advice. Work smart. You already know you're already smart or you wouldn't be here. You already know how to work hard, but work smart and continue to learn. Work smart means you really need to think about what you're doing and what some of the consequences would be. Don't just jump in and do it. Think about it before you do it. Secondly, continue to learn. When I was a senior here, my department got its first computer. It was an analog computer, which is now, of course, ancient history. During my career, very early on, I started teaching computer courses, even though I never had any. I organized and ran a CAD/CAM center. I learned to machine when I was a freshman because we all had to do that, but I sure didn't know anything about driving it by a computer or designing on a computer. You're going to find many challenges that you're very well prepared for with a background but you're going to have to continue to learn as you're doing it. And if you do, you will be very successful. I congratulate you and thank you for the award.